Hello gamers, welcome to another edition of Tonight on Mage Hammer's Game Table, where tonight I'm continuing my series featuring my Daring and Dangerous rules-light pulp adventure role-playing game called the Templar's Map. In our last episode, members of the Intrepid Society led by Dr. Alastair Wickham and Dr. Tessa Stewart and Xander Chance and the inventor known as Goneril Perryman all made their way from Castle Volkstein, where they secured a map that they discovered wasn't the manuscript they were looking for, yet a map that led to another location in Egypt, where supposedly there's another map fragment buried with the leader of the Templars and his final resting place, which was lost to history. And he is buried underneath somewhere in the city of Luxor, Egypt, in central Egypt on the bank of the Nile. They hurried away from Volkstein Castle. Let you go back and watch that episode to see what happened. And they have now flown here to an airfield outside of Luxor and have driven in cabs, and they are where they met with a contact of the Intrepid Society named Aziz. And Aziz, following the instruction by Dr. Wickham, has found them an entrance to a tunnel that was accessible in an alleyway in Luxor. So they've gone down into the tunnel and made their way through a long, winding tunnel deep under Luxor that has led to this ancient crypt. However, they have now come up against the entrance to the crypt, and upon that entrance is a riddle that Dr. Wickham is going to attempt to solve based on some clues from the map fragment they got from Castle Volkstein, as well as his own background knowledge. Now, another side note, Goneril Perryman, who used some of the charges on her force pistol that she has invented on her trip to Luxor from Germany, she's going to attempt, and I'm going to show it here on camera, to rig charges to her force pistol. Now, the way that works in game mechanics is that she has to make an engineering roll, and the difficulty level to charge this up in the field is the difficulty level is equal to half the invention points rounded up. So the invention points of a force pistol are 6, so she needs a DL3, and she can try to recharge up to 3 charges since the force pistol starts with 6 charges. So her engineering score is 5 dice. So she is going to attempt to rig the first charge, and she gets 3, 4, 4, and 5. So we move her charges on her force pistol up to 4. Then we are going, I rolled 6 dice, that's okay. And then she's going to try for a second charge, and she gets exploding die, but there's 3 successes, so she's going to move up there anyway. And then, here we go. She's going to make the other attempt. There we go. We got a 4, 4, 4. So she has successfully fully charged her force pistol back up to 6 charges. All right, now back to the door. So Dr. Alastair Wickham is looking at the map, looking at the riddle, and there looks like to be an intricate lock here on this door. But according to the map that I've studied, I think, and the writings here on this door, they are in French, strangely enough. It's kind of a hybrid French. Let me take a look here. So he's gonna use that. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't have French, but he knows Latin and he knows Spanish And so that, I think, is, you know, those Romance languages, especially Latin being the source of the Romance language, he's going to try to decipher it. Now, Dr. Tessa Stewart is going to help him. So he gets, for his knowledge, it's 6 dice. No, he has 7 dice. And he gets to reroll 1 failed when he's doing these kind of activities, trying to solve ancient puzzles and so forth. So that is 7 dice. And then Dr. Stewart is going to help him, so I'm going to add 2 more dice. And since neither of them are really fluent in French, he is going to, I'm going to make it a DL6. So let's see what we get here. So he gets 3, 4, 5, 6, gets it exactly, and had 2 exploding dice, and gets to re-roll a failed roll anyway. Oops, so that would be 3 exploding dice if he needed to roll them, but he doesn't. He finally figures out the riddle and turns the locking mechanism, and the release of air trapped inside of this place for centuries is revealed as the door opens up. And revealed is the crypt of the Templar. And Xander says, hey, I better stand back, Professor. Let me get in there. Yes, of course. Oh, fascinating. Yes. So standing before them is a crypt which has the skeletons of Templar knights standing at attention. And at the end is a sarcophagus in which they're, rumoredly, according to the map at least, the leader, the founder of the Knights Templar is interred. So they enter cautiously. Xander's like, hold on. Let me take a look around first. Stand back. So Xander, being an explorer, is going to use his search ability, and, you know, especially because he also has like awareness and so forth, he gets to re-roll 1 failed die of any kind. So he has a 5 dice for searching, and then that's including proficiency, of course, and everything. He's going to look around, and I'll set it at a DL3, and I think I'll roll randomly to see if there is actually a trap of some kind. No, there is not. Okay, but so he would make a DL3 roll to see if he can see it. Wow, he got 5 right out of the gate, plus he got an exploding die, plus if he fails any of the rolls on the exploding die, he gets to reroll 1. So, looks pretty clear, Professor. Let's check this out. So they enter in to the crypt, and Dr. Stewart's like, this is fascinating. Look at all of them, just standing here for a century or so, more than that, just watching. I wonder how they're, it looks like they are standing tall. They've got to be some kind of apparatus. Yes, Dr. Stewart, please don't touch anything. Oh, I know better than to do that, Professor, but thank you so much. Goneril Perryman's like, this is like engineering done to its greatest. Wow, this is just fascinating. Yeah, fascinating is one word, dangerous is another. Let's get what we need to get and get out of here. What do you think the map fragment would be? Well, according to the map, unfortunately, I think we're going to have to try to get into the sarcophagus. Well, let's get to it. So they make their way straight down this crypt, and it's going to be Xander gets up onto the sarcophagus, takes a look. Dr. Stewart joins him. Dr. Wickham wants to see it too, as does Goneril. So they all make it up onto this dais where the sarcophagus of the sleeping knight is. Well, when I say sleeping, I mean, you know, not with us anymore. Of course not. So Xander's like, well, looks like we might have to pry that off of there. You got anything in your toolkit that can help us with that? Well, I mean, I have a hammer. I suppose. I have a light crowbar. I don't know if it could handle that. That might be enough to get our fingers underneath it. But then again, looks like it's just, we should be able to just pivot it a bit on its stone plinth here. The lid, just pivot the lid and be able to reach inside. Well, I suppose that's going to be our best way to go about it. Yeah. All right. Then let's see. Goneril and I will push on this side, and you doctors push on the other side. Oh, very well, very well. So they're going to try to pivot the stone top of the sarcophagus enough to reveal what's inside without knocking that thing over, if they can help it. If they can't, then they may have to go at it a different way. So they're going to give that a shot, and it's going to require a strength. It's pretty heavy. It's going to require a strength test of 5. Now, I'm going to have the person with the highest strength be the main driver of that, which is Xander. So Xander is going to get his strength. Not necessarily going to give proficiency for this. He's not necessarily known for his feats of strength as an explorer. However, I'm going to give him an additional die for each person pushing on it. So that is, we're looking at 6 dice to get a DL5. And so he goes, all right, count of 3. 1, 2, 3, push. So they push, and they get only 4. However, since he's the primary, he gets to reroll 1 failed roll of any roll, and he fails that. So he's going to use oh my gosh. He uses one of his daring dice and adds the result. Doesn't get a result. So he's going to use a second daring dice, and that finally gets it. And they slowly pivot the stone, and it scrapes along the side. And then as they do that, revealed inside is the skeleton in full armor of a dead knight. And clutched in his hand is a map fragment. And Dr. Wickham's like, oh, hopefully he's not clutching it too tightly. And he reaches in to try to work it out. And as he does so, they hear the creaking of bones and the rattling of armor and weapons as the skeletons start to animate. They are now moving to defend their fallen leader. Oh my goodness. Those skeletons are moving. What? Oh my goodness. Well, Doctor, you get that map and we'll see what we can do. Very well. I'll do my best. Stay safe, everyone. And so he starts to try to pull that. He has to investigate it, make sure it doesn't like disintegrate into dust. He has to make sure that he can get it out of the clutches of that hand, and that hopefully the hand doesn't necessarily reach up and grab his throat. And so this is initiative. All right. Okay, so Dr. Wickham, of course, is going after the skeletons, but, you know, did we expect anything else? Not really. He loves to go last in combat. All right, then, Dr. Stewart's going after as well, but that's okay. Good, Xander and Goneril. Ooh, Goneril. Yeah, okay, good. Goneril and Xander are going before, and they're going after. Okay, so, Xander's pretty sure his pistol isn't going to do much, so he's going to have to go up and engage this thing in hand-to-hand combat. So he's going to move up on this skeleton here and attack it with his machete. All right, so he does so. Looking for my skeleton stats. Got them. All right, to the fray. And so he jumps in and he attacks. He gets, with his machete, I believe he gets 5 dice. 5 dice with his machete. Here we go. So he swings at the skeleton and gets 3 successes. These skeletons have an agility of 2, but are also wearing armor and shields. So I think because the armor is so heavy and so forth that they're going to have an armor 3, so he does not get through the defenses. We're not gonna test it against the agility resistance in this case because the armor is so heavy that the armor is taking the place of the agility resistance. If it were like lighter armor, maybe I'd add the agility resistance. So that's how I'm going to rule that. I mean, as a danger director, you can have it be agility resistance and armor. But anyway, so he swings with his machete and misses. Goneril, she takes aim with her force pistol and fires it at this skeleton advancing upon her, skeleton knight. All right, so she gets 5 successes, which minus 3 is 2 damage on that particular skeleton. So there you go. And it continues to move towards her. Lumber might be a strong word. And it continues to move towards her. So, all right. So now it is the skeleton. So that skeleton's going to attack Xander. They get 5 dice with their swords. So we got an exploding die over there. Another exploding die. So they're looking at 4 successes against Xander's agility resistance of 4. So he swings at Xander and misses. Then this skeleton moves up on to Goneril and attacks. 5 dice. And it gets 2 exploding dice, 5 successes out of the gate here. And wow. All right, so that's going to be 3, 6, 7. That is a considerable blow. So that's going to be 4 damage. I think we're going to take that without using a daring die. So she takes 4 damage, which brings her to that. And so, this other skeleton moves up towards the sarcophagus. This one moves up onto Xander and attacks him. And misses Xander. And then these other skeletons move forward. They're not really in a hurry, but you know, they're moving. It's been a while. We got to shake off the rust, so to speak. And then that brings us now to Tessa and the professor. So Tessa, she has a knife. And so goes to intercept this skeleton, and she attacks it with her knife. She's trying to jab it any way she can. Oh my goodness, nice, Tessa. All right, so that is 5 with an exploding die. So that is 5 minus 3 is 2. So 2 damage gets through. And the professor is needing to make an agility test to safely remove that document. So his agility is 2. And he rolls, so I'm going to say it's going to take 3 rounds to gently pull it out without damaging it. And he's got 1 round of successes, so we'll track it with this. So we've got 1 round of success. Put that over here. All right, so next up. I guess it's probably dark in here, but I will say when they opened the door, another feature that they were fascinated by but did not mention was that there were ever burning torches and sconces to light the sleep of the Templar. So yes, so there is light in here, but the torches are fascinating. All right, so initiative. All right, so Xander's going after, but it looks like everybody else is going to go before, which is good news. All right, let's do... So Goneril can use her pistol in close combat, so she is going to do that. We'll do that first. 9 dice, fires her force pistol right in the face of that skeleton, and gets 3 exploding dice and another exploding die. So that's 3, 6, 9 -3 is 6, and that is enough to blow the smithereens that ancient Knight Templar and finally send him to a complete and total rest. So we will remove him from the battle. All right, so Goneril is there getting ready to take aim at something else, and that is 2 shots with her force pistol of the 6. All right, so that's her. Next up, we will do Dr. Stewart. She is going to attack this thing with her knife. And she gets a pretty good roll. So that's 3, 6. That's 3 more damage off of hers. And she's going to use a damage die to finish hers off. So hers falls as well. Okay. 2 down. And the professor is going to try to make another agility test to gently pull that scroll out of the creature's hand, the dead knight's hand. He failed. So I think what I'm going to do is if he gets 3 failures before 3 successes, he could damage the map. So we're gonna do that. I'm going to track that over here. So he's got 1 failure there and 1 success there. So that's how we're going to track that. All right, so now the skeletons attack. So this one moves up on Goneril, this one moves up on Dr. Stewart, and these move into position, trying to head up onto the dais to defend their head knight. All right, so the 2 attacks on Xander. The first one, 5 dice. Oh, that is not great for that particular. That's a miss. Second skeleton. All right, so that's not enough to get over his abilities. The attack on Dr. Stewart. Ooh, solid hit, it looks like. So she has a agility resistance of 3, so she's going to take 2 damage. So Dr. Stewart takes 2 damage. And then we have an attack on Goneril Perryman. And that's 3. She has an agility resistance of 3, so it misses. It swipes at her and misses. So that brings us to Xander himself. So he takes his machete and swings at the initial skeleton attacked him. That's pretty good. All right, so he gets 4 successes. That's not as good as I thought. And that'll reduce his by 1, but he is going to use his final daring dice. I'm not sure that's a great idea, but he's going to do it. And does 6 damage, or 5 damage to that creature. Because that pushes it over the 3 threshold. So, unfortunately, it's still not down, and he's used his last daring dice, so let's hope he doesn't need it. Initiative. All right, these skeletons smell like centuries-old death. Oh, man. So, Goneril's going after, Xander before, Dr. Stewart before, and the professor, Dr. Wickham after. Okay, so they're split 50-50 there. All right, so... All right. All right, so Dr. Stewart's going to continue her assault on this. Ooh. 3, 6. Minus 3 is 3, so she has taken considerable amounts of bone off of that particular creature. And you know what? She's going to use another daring die to add to that damage. And she fells it again. 1 solid stab with her knife into the skull of that skeleton. Dropped it. It is out of commission. Its centuries-old watch is now done. And then she moves up onto these to help stop them from getting to Dr. Wickham. All right. Now, Xander swings with his machete. At the, oh, did I already do that? I already did that. No, was that last? No, it was last round. He's gonna swing his machete at this guy, the one that he injured, and that is enough. 4 is enough to take this one down, and so he concentrates on the other one that was fighting him. Now they attack. So that one on him attacks him. And 4 does not, I mean, he is squirrely. He's able to dodge that attack quite well. Then there's 2 attacks on Dr. Stewart. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea anyway. And so that puts her 5, so she has a agility resistance of 3, so that puts her at 2 damage. And then the second attack on her has an exploding die. All right, so that misses. And then there's an attack on Goneril Perryman, and that does 2 damage. It gets through her defenses and does 2 damage to her. Oof. So she is injured. Well, not injured, but she's wearing down, we'll say. All right, so that was their attacks. Now she uses her force pistol on the one in front of her, taking her down to half the charges of her force pistol. She fires. Ooh, a lot of exploding dice there. Nice. That's a good hit. She gets 4 exploding dice. Huh. Pew, pew, pew. All right, so that is 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 damage. They have 3 armor, so that's enough to shatter this. The force pistol shatters the bones of the guardian skeleton, and it falls. All right, and then the doctor makes his attempt. So he gets a second success. One more success. He is able to pull it gently out of the hands of the Knight Templar's corpse. All right, so initiative. Will they be in time? It appears so, but you never know. Goneril Perryman goes before. Oh, Xander after. Dr. Wickham after. And Dr. Stewart before. So here we go. All right. Here we go. Okay, so Dr. Stewart stabs with her knife. She's been having very good success with that knife of hers. And she does 1 damage to that one this time. It's fine. She's going to hold on to her daring dice. It's okay. Glancing blow against that skeleton in its armor. And then next is Goneril. She's going to use another charge. She's going to shoot at one of the ones that are on Dr. Stewart. And for the fun of it, if she rolls 3 1s on any of her dice, she will... yeah, 3 1s. It'll hit Dr. Stewart instead of the skeleton. Why not? Let's do it. Add a little bit of extra drama to the... Only 1 1, so they're good. All right, so that is 3 exploding dice. Man, this force pistol coming in clutch here. 3, 6, 8, 11 damage. That is more than enough to take out the other one on her. That force pistol. Quite the invention. Quite the invention. So that brings her down to 2 charges left in that thing. And that's it. So the skeleton's attack. 1 attacks Xander. And does not get through his defenses. It can't quite roll 5 successes against him. And the other one on Dr. Stewart, nope, misses her as well. So it needed 4, got 3. And then now Xander is going to swing away with his machete. 5 with his machete. He gets an exploding die and gets to reroll 1 failed roll. And that brings that to a total of 5, which is enough to do 2 damage to the one he is fighting. And then Dr. Wickham needs to make his agility roll. Oh, no. So should he take the failure? Wow. If it were 1, yeah, he's going to take the failure. Whew. Not great, Dr. Wickham. All right. So, initiative. Oh, bother, he says. That was close. All right, so Dr. Stewart before, Dr. Wickham after. Xander after, and Goneril before. So she fires their penultimate charge at the one fighting Dr. Stewart. Does not roll 3 1s. Has 2 exploding dice, so she gets 9 successes. -3 is 6, and that one had 5 remaining. Pew! Shoots it backwards, and it just shatters as a bone on the floor. All right. Then Dr. Stewart rushes up and stabs with her knife at this particular skeleton. And she fails to harm it. And she is not even going to attempt to roll her final daring dice. That was just a huge miss. And so the skeleton attacks Xander. Ooh, 2 exploding dice. Will it actually harm him? No, it does not. His dual resistance, he is very tough to hit in combat, which I suppose is good. All right, so that brings us to Xander attacking now. 5 dice with his machete. And he gets an exploding die. So that's 3, 6. So that's going to be 3 damage. He has no more daring dice, so that skeleton is still up, still active, still trying to defend its lord. All right. Now, Dr. Wickham. Oh, he made it. So he secures the map. Got it! I've got it! And so we can leave. A little busy right here, Doc. Yes. All right. And so it's initiative. Now, just as he pulls that... Oh, no, Goneril. Just as he pulls that map fragment out of the hands of the skeleton, the entire tomb begins to crypt, I guess. Tomb starts to shake. Sand and other rocks start to fall from the ceiling. Oh my, this is not good. We must flee this place. So he is going to take the sprint action. All right, so hurry, we must leave this place. Dr. Stewart's like, well, we're gonna try. So she swings with her knife, and oh, that is not enough to get through, and she would need to get 2 successes, so she's gonna hold on to her daring dice. She missed. And thankfully Xander is here. Let's see if he can get this done, but he doesn't have any daring dice, so. Okay, he's got 1 exploding die. Oh, so 3, 1, that's just enough to take it down. They finish off that poor knight, and he moves 30 feet. Hurry! And so Goneril takes the sprint action. And so Dr. Stewart is left behind. So that is the end of that round, and suddenly stones fall from the ceiling. I'm going to roll randomly to see which person it falls on. So, all right, so I guess they're technically in 3 rows of tiles. I guess we'll use that. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to fall where Xander is. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say, so we're going to, if it rolls a 5, it falls on him. And it rolls a 4. Chunk of stone falls right in front of him. Oh, that was close. Whoa. And so, let's see how many pieces of stone fall. So that's one stone fell. So it fell and missed him. So we're gonna roll initiative, and anyone goes after has a chance to get hit by stone again, and anybody goes before it should be able to escape the tomb. So that's how we're gonna play that. All right, so Dr. Wickham is he's going to use a daring dice. All right, he's going to use 2 daring dice. Oh my gosh. He's going to use a 3 daring dice. And that's just enough to get initiative. So he's going before. He'll probably make it out. Looks like Dr. Stewart's going to make it out. Gone roll. 2 successes. Yes, and 3 successes for... So they are more than likely all going to make it out, thanks to the daring dice. Just as Dr. Wickham leaves, a chunk of stone falls. And 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 6 just made it out. As the whole ceiling collapses and dust flies outwards, they're kind of staggered forward down the tunnel, coughing. Well, oh, that's harrowing. Quickly, we must make our way back to the plane and get in the air and see where this is going to take us. So they make their way through Luxor. They meet up with Aziz. Aziz has a family truck, and he takes them in that back to the airfield. And as on that trip back to the airfield, Dr. Wickham is looking at the map. And, if I'm reading this map correctly, and I believe I am, it is going to lead us to the ruins of the Library of Alexandria. And down in the tunnels below is where the manuscript is. I should have thought of that in the first place. Of course, that's the most obvious place possibly in the ancient times that it would be put. So much was destroyed, though, with the Library of Alexandria. Hopefully it's still intact. So, that's our next trip. At least we don't have to leave the country. Very good, very good. All right, let us go. And it says here that it is protected by traps. I need to translate this. You and I, Dr. Stewart, will translate. Well, oh no, you're flying the plane. Well, Xander, Goneril, you'll do your best to help me. So on their trip, from here to the map's location, Library of Alexandria, it doesn't look like it's too far away. He is going to try to decipher the map and any clues it may have as to the location of the manuscript. And it does say the manuscript, so he's very excited about that from what he can make out. So that was this episode, and the heroes narrowly escaped with their lives. And so that was the episode. So until next time, this keep on rolling dice and playing games. Mage Hammer out. And thank you so much. Oh, out. Sorry, a little premature there. Listen, thank you so much for joining me on these adventures and the support you've given me for my games and my channel. It means a lot to me. I'm having a blast. I'm having so much fun. So thank you so much. Also, if this is a game that you look like you want to, might be ones you want to play, you can download it from itch.io as a pay what you want to download and take a look at it and get it to your table and see what you can do. Have some fun. All right, thank you so much for watching. Till next time, keep on rolling dice and playing games. Mage Hammer out. For real this time.